Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We are here today to talk about the art of letting go. All right? And it is an art. It is definitely a technique, so to speak. I think the first thing you have to understand is that from the moment you take your first breath in earth, you are being programmed toward your future. From that first breath, other people are beginning to shape and mold your ideas and your thinking. And if you look back through time, you see that at given points in time, everybody thought the same way about one thing. That is why everybody has the same hairdo in a certain period of time, why everybody set a certain mode of clothes in a certain time. Moving from a rigid expression of God's love to a more open, flexible one. All of these things were programmed from the beginning in you. And it was not until you reached an age of reason that you began to have doubts or question anything in your life. The child is open to anything that's handed to it. Right? And so the child, without realizing it, is shaping and molding through other people's input how they're going to handle life. Right? Now, at the age of reason, there may be doubts about something that's being taught or whatever, but you're still not quite able to say, if I don't do it that way, I'll be guilty. All right? So the guilt aspect begins to come in. All right? So you realize that and this is like around the age of 7, that this is the first transition number. All right? And so you have the realization that you think you're supposed to be a certain way, and if you aren't that way, you should feel guilty about it, and that you're wrong. As you grow a little further, by the second 7-year cycle, you're beginning to rebel. All right? You're beginning to say, no, I don't want to do it that way. No, that's not who I am. I have to become who I really am. And the search begins. And the search will take you up mountains and down valleys and across rivers, whatever, but you're going to find out who you are. And then you have to accept who you are. Because until the moment when you accept who you are, you cannot break away from the old patterns. You have to say, I'm an individual, and no matter what went on from the first 7 years in my life, or even the second 7 years of my life, I now am in the controller's seat, and I have the right to design who I am and what I'm going to be. Now, along the way, when we're going through that process, there very often is a sense of, but if I'm going to find out who I am, how do I go about it? What is there to help me find me? All right? And strangely enough, many people find themselves through a negative incident in their life, and many people find themselves through a positive one. Other people make a decision that changes their whole life. There's no set way that you really find yourself. But it is by releasing and letting go that you pull in the new realizations of the self. Because if you don't let go, there's no room to be something new.